Brad Logan, what's going on, man?
Hi, Chris. Long time no speak, man.
Yeah, way too
How you
long,
doing?
man.
Way too long. Good to talk to you, buddy.
Absolutely. Thanks for calling in. How you feeling, man?
Fuck. I feel fucked, but way better than I did fucking yesterday. So yesterday was like 3 steps below fucked. You know what I mean? I caught some fucking bug, man. Like, went up to the Midwest for a few days. My last day there. Just, I don't know, man. I might have caught it on the plane on the way out, but
No, bro.
fucking floored my ass.
This thing is everywhere, man. Like, I had it. All my people had it. All my students had it. All my friends had it. People were knocked out for like 3 weeks. So it's good that you got this shit now and get it out of the way with your tour coming up. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, people are fucking dying out here of the shit. Like, not fucking old people, like, just fucking adults, right? Like, in LA and San Diego, I was reading a big article about it in the fucking Times the other day. It's like fucking taking people out. I'm like, whoa. So I just am doing something I wouldn't normally do, which is fucking totally lay low, man. I haven't gotten out of bed in fucking 2 days. And, you know,
Yeah, I was
not
gonna
that
say.
I felt like it, but I just hate sitting still, man. You know?
Dude, you're always on the move, man. I'm like looking at your shit online. I'm like, what the fuck? Does this guy have clones?
I'm fucking, yeah, man. Yeah. I try and make it look like I'm busy at least.
Be weary of the phantom symptoms, because like when I was over it, I would have like flashbacks, bro, like days later, like, oh, am I sick again? And I'd get all like paranoid about it and take a bunch of vitamin C and go to bed at 6 o'clock. You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
Play it safe with your tour coming up.
I just been pounding like, over the counter stuff is like, it just masks the fucking symptoms, right? It doesn't do anything as far as trying to pull you out of it. So I've been like sucking down wheatgrass every day and fucking colloidal silver and just trying all these like immune building homeopathics and fuck, who knows if they're helping or not.
Expensive vitamins and wheatgrass on the windowsill. Healthy body, sick mind.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're helping, but fuck it, You
got to try anything at this point. People say zinc.
Yes.
People say vitamin D.
Yeah. I mean, I think most of that stuff you're supposed to do before you fucking get sick, but whatever.
That was a joke that I heard somebody say. It was like, oh, you're sick? You know what you got to do? Take a bunch of vitamin C 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So,
It's rough on tour, man, and I want to tell you about this stuff, man, that saved my life a lot. It's this Chinese herbal tea called Mamortica. If they have like a Hong Kong market kind of place out there, pick up this tea for your singer. This stuff is amazing. It just saved my life on tour. Mamortica tea. It's like these little capsules you put in the hot water, so you're still
how do you spell?
MOMORDICA. You might be able to order it online too. I'm sure you could.
Cool. I'm gonna look it up.
No doubt. But you only sing like a few songs in Rats on the Wall, like.
Yeah, a few fucking lines here and there. So but still, it's fucking drag plain sick, right? No matter what you're doing. But yeah, our singer is when you tour all the time, I think you build up, you strengthen your fucking vocal cords and you either root them or you fucking toughen them up.
Absolutely.
And we don't tour a whole bunch, so she's got to be real careful. Her voice gets kind of like blown out after a couple days if she doesn't take it real fucking easy, like the first couple shows. And that's like counterintuitive, right? Because you like fucking play the gig, man, and you just put everything into it, and it's like, oh, cool, I've just blown my fucking shit out. I did that in F- once on a European tour, fucking 3 shows into it, blew my voice out to where the only shit that was coming out was
Sounding like
and
Tim and shit.
Yeah, and I had like 25 more shows to go.
Oof.
And I did the whole tour and couldn't talk for literally fucking 6 months after, man.
Wow.
It was fucking, yeah, I wasn't going to, what am I going to do, get on a fucking plane and go home? Like, we were dog shit, no, it's not like we're fucking U2 and we're canceling because the voice is out,
Blame it on the mic, man.
Right. Yeah, man.
Is this thing on?
Yeah.
I tried to think back when I was playing in No Cash, how I screamed every night on tour. And then I remembered half of our shows would fall through and the other half we'd only play for like 15 minutes and then like fall off the stage or something.
Right. Well, it never happened. It never happened again. Once I blew it out that bad, it's like I fucking hit up some friends of mine that actually knew how to sing. I'm like, yo, man, you got to give me some tips on how to not do this. And they like taught me all about the fucking, singing from the gut, not the head kind of shit. And some like different techniques, and never fucking blew it out again,
Nice. Wow.
Yeah. So,
you have to school me on that shit, man.
Yeah. The fact that I didn't know what the fuck I was doing had a lot to do with it too,
Yeah. Get too excited that first show.
Right. I think that your natural, like when you're talking from your like face, right? You're not like breathing in and you're fucking,
Ed.
Right. And then these real singer friends of mine are like, no, man, who was it? It was Davey from AFI actually gave me the fucking the best pointers, man.
What did he say?
Because he can really sing, right?
Oh, absolutely. His range is insane.
Right. Never blows his shit out. And he taught me the old just, taking a fucking breath of air into your stomach, and then like, I'm trying to do it now, but I'm sick. And then just like,
don't push it.
Kind of like you want to have your fucking stomach full of air before you start singing, and it's weird to explain,
Kind of like a bagpipe.
Yes, exactly. So you're not putting the fucking pressure on your larynx and your vocal cords, it's all coming from your lungs, or your stomach or what have you, and
that's great.
And also pausing. Yeah, right. And also pausing at various places to fucking breathe instead of just blowing it all out,
Yeah. You ever experience like when you're on tour and you feel like total shit and then it's time to play and you just get this like your adrenaline kicks in and you feel great on stage. You're like, I'm not even sick anymore. And then after the show, you like feel like you're going to die.
Oh yeah. You collapse into a fucking pile of waste. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, something about that adrenaline, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to know that your body can help you through those moments when you got to get through them, But
yeah, it goes into survival mode.
Afterward, you're gonna pay for sure.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, man, congratulations on the new album, and it seems to be like really getting a lot of hype.
Oh, thanks a lot. Yeah, I mean, I really like it. I think it's kind of the best stuff that Rats has done as a band, and the thing is, we didn't even plan on releasing it as a record. We went in to do all those songs as demos at our friend, at our friend Jimmy's house, and he's got like a home studio, and he's in a bunch of bands out here, and it's in his, the live room is his garage, and then he's got cables running into his fucking laundry room,
cool.
which is where the the vocals are, and
visualize it.
Yeah, and we're like, hey man, we just want to like demo some shit, hear how it sounds, and it came out so good. We're like, because we went in without any like. We had been fucking with the songs for a while. We weren't nervous about anything. We didn't have any, like, should we do this or that? We just kind of wanted to hear it. And it was like, this came out really good, man. I don't think we need to, like, re-record this anywhere. And that, at the same time, as we had done that, like that program, which is a skate shop out here that does shows, they do shows like 3 a week, right? It's like the fucking best all ages venue in fucking Orange County. That's not, in Southern California, it's not even a venue, right? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna start putting out records too, man. You guys want to be our first record? We're like, hell yeah.
Oh, cool.
So it all kind of like came together, by no fucking planning on our own, came together really. It's like, well, it must be the right thing to do,
Very natural.
So,
and doesn't it seem like that's the best way to record, with like almost candidly, like you just jamming with your band, not even really worried like, what is this going to be? How is it going to be perceived by our listeners? Like, are they going to like how I bend this note? Are they going to like how I'm singing this line? It was just all you jamming, tracking a demo, and then like, actually tricked you. This is the record.
Yes, absolutely. You got to have nothing to lose, man,
Yeah.
Which we didn't. It's like, fuck, we had nothing to lose. Nobody had been talking to us about putting anything out, and we were just like, we do the shit. We were doing it because we just liked being in a band together, right? There was no like game plan or anything, and
so chronologically, you recorded it and then were approached to do a release with Program?
Yeah, within like 3 weeks after we recorded it, we were just like sitting on these tunes. It's like, well, fuck, we got 6 tunes, and they hit us up about doing a 7-inch, and we're like, well, we can fit 5 of them on there on a 7-inch, and that's when Indecision, got involved as well, and Dave Mandel, who runs Indecision, is like, he still goes to shows, he takes photos, and Indecision released all these. If you're not familiar with that label, released a bunch of hardcore from Orange County, back in the 90s and stuff, some brutal, like early fucking brutal, straight edge, not straight edge, just, hardcore type stuff. And we kind of partnered up on it and decided, well, we'll do cassettes and CDs too, and we can throw that extra song on those, So,
bonus track.
Yeah, right. Bonus track that would usually be on the vinyl, but, is now on the cassette and the CD.
Well, how does it work when 2 labels release one record? Like, do they split the cost of the production?
I think so, yeah.
And then split all the profits?
Right. I don't think they, I don't know too much about the deal they made with each other, but I would imagine it's something like that. Like, we're just getting, records from them, right? Like, that's our payment is records, and so, percentage of the press, and which is cool because we can sell those at shows, and
yeah,
it works out good for us. But they have like, all the online sales and all the digital and stuff like that, and
so they own the masters.
Well, technically, we own the masters. They didn't pay us for it. We paid for them. We paid our buddy who recorded us.
Okay,
but they're like so it's like a small time, it's a fucking 6-song EP, and we've been friends with, both, Indecision and the guys at Program for, so long. That topic didn't even fucking come up. It's like,
wow,
they didn't ask for the masters. We didn't even have that fucking talk. And we're not asking for, anything other than, give us whatever the fuck you want, man. Who fucking cares?
Well, you don't feel fleeced about like them selling it on Bandcamp as opposed to you? Like, is it more of just like, here's a donation, let me toss y'all some songs because I love what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, we have fucking, 1 full length, 2 fucking splits. We have like 25 fucking songs on our band camp that we put on ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, cool, let someone else do it for a while.
Right.
See how they deal with it, you know? And, so nah, I mean, at this point, I don't give a fuck, you know?
You've all been self-released up until this point. Is it like nice to just have somebody else deal with that shit and like focus on the band?
Oh, fucking 100%, man. I mean, even there, you know, we still had to, I had to be like, you have to approve all the fucking art and, you know, go over the layout and,
yeah,
you know, a bunch of other fucking, you know, all those little details, fucking sequencing, fucking, you know, just the production details that
mailing shit out.
Yeah, we had to go back and forth, you know, with the guy who took the photos on the covers. It's, you know, each format has a different photo from the same show.
Oh, cool.
And it's a different color.
That's smart.
And different photo, right?
That's very smart. You got to get all three.
Yeah, right. They're collectors. Yeah, it's a set, you know.
Beautiful. I'm taking notes, man.
And the guy who laid it out, or the guy who took the photos also laid it out, right? And you know, so we had to pick which photos, and you know, of course, everybody in the fucking band has what's the photo they look the fucking best in, and blah 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 blah.
They chose
you know?
wisely.
Yeah, so it had to go back and forth like that for a while, but.
Dude, I gotta say, I love the blue on the vinyl. The blue is so nice.
It looks really cool, right? With the white vinyl.
I wasn't expecting the blue, you know, like you think Rats in the Wall, it's gonna be black. Nothing but, you know what I mean?
No.
And then you see the blue and it's like, ooh, blue.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking, it's attractive. It's fucking sexy, man.
It is,
I like
dude,
it.
I wanted to say sexy, but I felt weird about saying it. I'm glad you said it, man.
No, you can. I say it in spite of us, you know. Yeah, it's fucking sexy.
Yeah,
yeah, so I'm pretty happy about it. It was, like I said, a total, like, fucking accident, you know, so.
I mean, I'm sure you've accumulated a lot of like punk rock karma for some shit like that to come together. You know, like there are some workings happening, some ghosts, you know, the ghosts of legendary punk rockers like around you. Like, all right, we're going to get them to candidly record this album. Now we're going to get in somebody's head about throwing them a deal, and it's going to happen.
I think that's the way it worked. You know, the best was, you know, at least from the performance standpoint of like, we had no fucking pressure. You know, there was literally like, we just went in and fucking hung out with our buddy who was recording it, shot the shit with him, you know, like, no fucking, did I do this line right or play that right? It was just like, yeah, fuck it, man. Sounds good enough.
So natural.
You know, and so, yeah, it was like probably the best representation of what a live fucking set would be like, you know. And
did you record it
and
like
then
all as a band, like in one shot, like vocals, guitar, everything, or did you scratch stuff and then come and overdub?
I would say that the only person that wasn't there when we recorded it initially was the bass player. I played bass, and he was on tour with another band. So when he got back, he came in and just laid all the bass tracks. But it was me and the singer and the drummer live, and me and the drummer first, and then the singer the same day, just threw her vocals over him. There wasn't room enough, you know, it wasn't big enough for us all to play at the same time.
Right. Laundry room.
But you know, the garage is where the drums were, you know, but there was no, I think that I redid maybe one or two little fucking, you know, obvious fuck ups. And I don't even know, our singer maybe redid a fucking line, but it was just like pretty much what you're hearing is all first fucking takes.
Wow.
You know, 98% of it is just first take shit.
And even to an extent, overdubbing or redoing a part is still natural, because it's like, if it was fucked up in the recording, it's not like you owe it to anybody. Like, no, wait, we gotta leave it. It's like, but that's not how the song was intended to be played. So let's just punch it in. And
right.
Was it recorded digitally or did you put it on tape?
No, it was digital.
So it's like nothing to go back in. Let me punch that in. Let me punch that chord in or whatever.
Yeah, right. But he, what Freddie would do is he would just hit record and like leave the room and go in and make fucking something to eat or whatever, and go take a piss and come back. All right, you done? Cool. Stop. and so, I mean, he he's been in hardcore bands out here, him and his brother for fucking ever. And he's been recording his own stuff forever. Right. So he knows exactly how to record that shit. And it's not like, fucking struggle for him or weird. And some engineer guys can't get their head around the very simple concepts of, fucking less is more. And it also helped that our, like we write and practice like fucking weekly basis, whether we got shows coming up or not, whether, we like to be a living and breathing fucking evolving band. And so like, we do one release, cool, fucking never listen to it again, start working on the next one, and that's part of the, one of the, I think, the positives about being in a band that nobody fucking cares about is you have nobody to answer to except yourselves, and it's like, all right, cool. We're just working on getting better at saying what we want to say the way we want to say it is, for ourselves.
Non-stop.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
yeah, and like for me at least, and I think for those guys too, at this point, half the fun of being in the fucking band isn't shows anymore. It's the whole, the creative process, right?
Yeah, I love both aspects. It's a yin yang when you're in a band. It's like if you're not doing the creative stuff, taking risks, writing, there's not going to be any excitement when you go play that stuff live. And if it's not fun when you're playing live, you're not going to want to create more. It's going to be like, it's got to be reciprocal.
Yes.
But let me ask you, did you say your bass player came back in to dub his bass, or did you keep the bass that you laid down on it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, just the most rudimentary of, I'm fucking Sid Vicious on the bass, man. And
probably a step above that.
Yeah, and so, I did just, and it sounded great to me, but it was very fucking yeah, right. But, he's like, he added, there's a lot of stuff that he does that adds a different dimension to it. And I'm glad he came in and put his shit on there. I think that, we were like, he's on fucking tour. It wasn't for any specific, we weren't using for any specific purpose other than demoing it. So it's like, fuck it, we'll go in, I'll play bass, we'll just hear how the track sounded.
Do you think it's important to have all band members included on a recording, even if there's a guy who could like just take care of everything probably better than the other people could? Do you value having like everyone's kind of energy captured on that recording over maybe having a little bit higher level of skill in the playing?
Oh, I think it makes a big difference. I think that with exception, I mean, I get it that some people, can't be there on certain days, they're going to come in another day. But, I mean, you want everybody to feel connected to it, man. And that's the fucking, the awesome part of being in a band. There's a lot of awesome parts of having your own solo shit too. And not having to run anything by anybody, that's great too, but that's your solo fucking shit, right? If you're in a band, the cool part about that is when everybody's throwing in ideas, you come up with shit sometimes that's better than what you would have thought of, because it's like, oh wait, stop. What did you just do? Yeah, fucking do that. All right, yeah. And you take off in a different direction. And, you know, there's like, we're working on new stuff right now, and I'm trying to write from that standpoint of like going into, right now it's just me and the drummer, and I'm just going in to play with him, you know, up until I got sick, but I'd go in with no ideas, or maybe just a little fucking, you know, riff that I put on my voice memo on the phone. And nothing constructed, and just kind of go in and fucking improvise and see what comes out. You know what I mean? And normally I don't write like that. I like to have a fucking plan. You know, here's the fucking start, here's the end of this, here's the, you know, this part. And I got, you know, into the sort of predictable pattern with it. It's like, well, let's try and get out of that. And then by, you know, in the singer will come down, and she'll just sit there and just fucking hang out. And, you know, even if she's not throwing any vocals in, she'll just go, oh, hey, I like that part. You know, fucking, you know, do this again, you know, or don't do that. And the bass player has been on tour again. He's in like a few other bands, and but now that he's back, you know, he's going to be on the tour with us, and you know, we can get him down there and get his 2 cents in shit too, and so yeah, I think it's important, you know, as it is frustrating. It can be fucking frustrating too, man. You know, you've been in bands.
You got to walk on eggshells sometimes.
Right. And you got to like, you know, you got to think of what's best for the big picture, you know, and pick your battles, and like, all right, I'm not going to get too, you know, there are some things, you know, it's like, I'll fight for it, and other things you just got to let go so other people can be theirs too, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's a band.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's one thing I heard Billy Corgan said was like one of his regrets about Smashing Pumpkins was not including his band more. And that's something that I've always tried to do, but then I always end up getting hurt, Brad. Like then my band always walks, and I'm like, why did I let that guy play that line when I could have done it like 5 times better?
Right.
But maybe it's just, you got to be like a player's manager and just like trust your guys, you know, and give them benefit of the doubt over and over.
Exactly.
How do you handle like somebody's doing something and you're kind of like, you got the rats in the wall in your head, or kind of like clawing, like I want to say something, but I don't want to hurt their feelings, and I don't want to like cause any bad energy. How do you approach those kind of situations, or do you not encounter them? Do you like let the thought dissolve in your own mind and just let it be as is?
As far as if somebody comes up with a part on something that I'm not into?
Yeah, something like that. Like they're playing something and maybe you are hearing it a different way, or a lyric or anything like that. How do you approach that?
That's an interesting one. Yeah, you want to say in the way that you know, I like to leave the floor open to fucking throwing ideas back and forth, and kind of like, you know, the thing is, well, you know, nobody should have hurt feelings here. We're throwing ideas back and forth. You know what I mean? We got to be able to be open with each other about shit like that. So if somebody is doing something that I don't like, that doesn't mean that it's the wrong thing for the song, but I'll say, fuck, can you try something else? You know?
Yeah.
Or that's cool, but try this. And then we'll like try it both ways for a while, and we'll see which one seems to fit better. You know what I mean? Does that make any kind of sense?
Absolutely. And then sometimes you kind of realize that you were wrong. You're like, oh, you know what? You're right all along. I didn't think so, but now that I hear it, thank you, you know?
Yes. And then with lyrics, it's like I kind of leave those open to Eva to, you know, to talk about whatever she wants to talk about. Occasionally, she would come up with a line, and I'd be like, it's a terrible line. And, and again, it's just my opinion. It doesn't really mean it's terrible, you know. And so I'd go to her, hey, what do you think about this line? Do you like that line? And she could, if she was like attached to it, she'd be like, yeah, it's really saying what I want to say there. I'd be like, cool, you know, leave it alone.
Cool.
And sometimes she'd be like, I didn't know what to put there. And I'd be like, can you fuck with a little more, you know, kind of try some different things. And so her and I have a good rapport about that kind of stuff. She doesn't take, you know, because she knows I fucking love and respect her. So she doesn't take it like an attack. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've been like real thankful in the past when people have questioned something that I had. I've never like been like hurt by it, you know? And in fact, looking back, like my producer, Dan McKinney, really fucking saved my ass a lot of times with some really stupid lines that I wanted to use. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, a lot of times I wish people would fucking chime in, you know, like, well, what do you think about this part that I fucking wrote here? I don't know what the fuck, you know, and I think that when you're in a healthy, you know, working environment with people, that they will tell you their opinion, and you can go, oh, fucking cool. All right. You can wait out, you know? Yeah, man, it's cool to be around. I mean, it definitely pays to work with people that you trust, you know, and like everybody in that band, you know, are pretty much people that I guess I was the first guy in the band, and then I just hooked up with people whom I got along with, like, idealistically, you know, we had the same likes in music, not everything, and to help that they could play. But first and foremost, you know, I think that the type of person they were was more important. And that's the way I put a few different bands together. It seems to work out.
And would you only let it happen organically? Like if you had a plan for a tour and one of them was like, oh, I couldn't do that, would you be like, okay, then that's what it is? Or would you be like, oh, I'm going to find a substitute?
No, we always get substitutes. I mean, there's been substitutes for me. Yeah. I mean, there were things I couldn't do. It's like, no, take fucking Landon. He'll play guitar, you know? And I mean, I think that the way I look at it is everybody's replaceable. The band is bigger than any one of the individuals, you know, and myself included, you know, and probably we couldn't do a tour without would be the singer, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the rest of us, fuck, who gives a fuck about us? You know what I mean? And you know, you got the fucking, I kind of like the idea of the band living on, you know, without, you know, I mean, I don't like doing that. I'd rather have the people that played on this shit be there.
Yeah.
And pretty much, you know, we try and plan our shows and our tours, you know, so they don't fuck anybody's schedule up, man, and so everybody can be there.
Yeah.
You know, because the shows are a lot better. I've had stand-in bassists and drummers, and you know, it's cool, but it's not the fucking same. You know, Absolutely. The energy isn't there, man. Yeah.
And it's all about the energy. And for like as kind of gritty and brutal and atonal as the Rats in the Wall stuff is, sometimes like I hear a lot of groove in there too, like some rock and roll influence. And it's like clear that y'all are having fun playing this stuff, not just trying to prove something.
No, there's a lot going into it. And I think that we wanted to, I mean, wanted to not be the same as a lot of what's going on around, you know, the scene that we go to, you know, hardcore and D-beat and metal and crust and all that shit's fucking great. Love it. But there's like 200 bands doing fucking D-beat. There doesn't need to be 201 fucking bands doing fucking D-beat. The same kind of shit, you know, and was our philosophy. It's like, well, let's try, you know, and do something a little fucking, you know, try to do something different and see if we can make it as fucking, you know, as exciting to us as that other type of stuff is, without sounding fucking exactly like that other type of stuff.
Super important. Yeah.
So we're pulling from a lot of fucking influences that wouldn't be typically, you know, it's not trendy stuff right now, you know, and But fuck, man, Eva was in, you know, her band before was like fucking Hatebreed, you know. F- was fucking, you know,
F-.
Million Mile was F-, you know, Leftover Conk is Leftover Crack. And it's like, well, fuck, we've done all that. We've done that other shit, you know, let's try and do something that is new territory for us, you know. And I think that the newest EP is probably, it's, I think, you know, 30 recorded songs later, I think it's finally starting to take a shape, which is like we don't even know what we're looking for, but it sounds like it's kind of starting to get to what we're looking for, you know?
Yeah, you definitely have your own sound, and I think you deserve credit for like not riding your own coattails and like not just repeating what probably would just be a cash in for you. You know what I mean? And I think
that
that's
would be
cool.
too easy of a fucking way out, right? And,
yeah, absolutely.
And not like, and not honest, man. I mean, like, yeah. I love all that F- shit, but I can't, you know, like, I watch videos, you know, on YouTube of us, and it's like, that's cool, man, but, like, I couldn't play that stuff with my fucking heart into it anymore, because I, you know, I fucking did that shit for years, and it was rad, but that was fucking then, which is why F- hasn't done any, like, reunions or whatever. I mean, that was then, this is fucking now.
Because you know? It's like with the reunion, you owe it to the band to, like, stay true to it. Maybe in some situations a reunion somehow is staying true, but like I always thought one of the baddest ass things about Operation Ivy was that even though they could probably make $1 billion and sell out 12 stadiums in a row, they never fucking did it. Like that's the most punk rock thing of all time.
Yeah, neither did Minor Threat, you know, neither did the fucking Clash. And I mean, you're right. No, I'm not bagging on anybody that's done reunions, because I've seen some reunions that were fucking great.
You like that Misfits reunion, right?
Misfits were fucking great. You know, Subhumans never really broke up. Subhumans are always fucking great.
You said you saw Misfits when they were playing originally, right? Like you did a tour with them back in the 80s?
Yeah, when I was a kid, man. When I was in high school.
Such a legend, dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, we played, I was in this band, Harry Carey from San Pedro, and basically their guitar player left. They were like a fucking early, you know, fucking peace sign with the fucking nuclear explosion.
Nice.
You know, like Crass meets fucking Crucifix, you know, and spiky fucking vests, you know, shiny pants. And they were like, hey, you know, our guitar player just left, and we have this tour that we're doing down to Texas. You know, we're playing with the Misfits and you know, a bunch of other bands, and we're looking for a guitar player. And I can't even remember who told me they were looking for somebody, but I went and tried out. So like, cool, man. Do you want to do the tour? I was like, absolutely. And so we played 2 shows with the Misfits. We played one in Dallas, and one in Austin. And, you know, they stayed at the same house. You know, we were staying at the promoter's fucking house. They stayed there too, you know. Wow. And you know, we went to their fucking record store, you know, in-store period. But this was like, there was probably at these shows 500 people, right? Which was like, in that era, was fucking enormous. You know what I mean? Now it's like not. Right.
You playing Leftover Crack. I play Mad Conductor. 500 is fucking dope.
Right. 500 is a lot of people, right? But when you think about all these fests and stuff now, you know, right. It's like.
It's mostly what it is.
500. Yeah. 500's like fucking, you know, it isn't much compared to how punk shows have been for a while. And I don't even think these shows were sold out. One was in a big warehouse in Dallas, just a big empty concrete fucking warehouse. And the other was in a theater in downtown Austin. You know, the flyers, I'm going to actually post them on they're coming up at the end of the month. I'm going to fucking post them. But, Yeah, I mean, my band, the band Harry Carey, was totally into the Misfits. I not only heard of them up until then, we were fucking blasting the cassette the whole way down, you know, and by the time I got to, you know, we'd done shows all the way to Texas, but by the time I got to Texas, I was a fucking fan, you know?
Wow. That's really, I wonder how many people saw the original Misfits and saw this reunion. Like, you might be one of a rare breed. Then again, you're Brad Logan, so.
You know, a few of my friends, from, you know, Ron from Final Conflict, who books Leftover Crack, he had also seen the original Misfits, and he was at the reunion. You know, I think a lot of what makes the reunion these reunions great is, you know, if you're emotionally attached to the fucking band or not, right? Because it's just some guys coming out and fucking playing. And if you have no emotional attachment to the music, it's just another fucking band. But for me, the Misfits were like part of my childhood, you know, and like Jawbreaker is for other people. Like, I saw Jawbreaker, you know, a bunch when, you know, before they broke up originally. And they were cool, but yeah, they were cool, but they weren't like a part of my fucking, you know, I wasn't emotionally attached to the stuff. Right. You know what I mean? So, like, that's cool. But at the same time, fucking doesn't mean shit to me.
Yeah.
You know?
And I sometimes caution people against people who are like, get no cash together. And I'm like, no, trust me. Like, it's better that we don't do that.
You know, I try and ask myself, when it comes to band matters, I kind of ask myself, more often than not, I tend to ask myself, what would Ian MacKaye do?
Yeah.
What would Ian do? I mean, here's a guy who made it, you know, honestly and on his terms without having to cheapen himself, you know, and I really look up to that. He didn't have to, like, you know, fucking get used and abused and cheapen himself and exploit himself to become what I consider a success in this sort of fucking genre, you know. And all of his bands that you know he was in all sounded different from one another, and he never went back, you know. Once one band ended, he fucking just kept going forward. And that is definitely harder because it doesn't matter who you are, nobody gives a fuck about your new band.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know? So, like, they don't want to fuck. Yeah, they don't want to fucking know, man. You know, and you know, you got two guys from Leftover Crack and Rats. Nobody gives a fuck. You know, it's like, play some Leftover Crack songs. But we're not even anything like Leftover Crack. You know, and
it's kind of funny to me when I see people say, like, Rats in the Wall featuring Brad Logan, who was in F- and Leftover Crack. And I'm like, who the fuck doesn't know who Brad Logan is? Like, you don't even have to add the other credentials.
Promoters are going to promote, man. And you know, I always tell them, hey, if you could leave that shit out, that'd be rad.
Yeah. Again, man, like, you deserve credit for not, like, going out there and being like, South Park's Brad Logan. You know what I mean? Brought to you by Comedy Central, Rats in the Wall.
Yeah. No, we want to, like, stand on our own and have our own identity and you know. But you know, oh, that's what I was talking about, reunions. But you know what? I'll tell you, man, and a lot of these guys that are doing these reunions, like, I think Jawbreaker fucking deserves the money, man. They deserve to get fucking paid. You know, they influenced enough fucking bands that went on to make fucking millions, and they were working fucking day jobs. Refused, same thing, man. Fuck yeah, throw the money at these fucking guys.
Well, it's like ODB said, I gots to get paid, whether it's truthfully or untruthfully.
If somebody offered fucking F- $1 million to do a reunion, I'd have to fucking think real hard about that. Even though I'm not, like, I mean, here's the thing, is it just wouldn't be the fucking same. We would suck, man, you know? We would fucking suck. It was very much, that band was very much a time and a place, and it was an accident. Again, just like fucking Rats. It was a motherfucking accident. I couldn't have planned that shit. Nobody cared at the fucking time. You know, we would play, We got put on, because we were on Hellcat, we got put on some of the biggest shows around. Nobody fucking cared. People were just blank stares, because they weren't used to seeing that shit on big stages. You know what I mean? And we were fucking uncompromising in our attitudes towards being completely fucking hardcore. And, you know, this isn't about singing fucking happy little songs about your fucking girlfriend, boyfriend. This is like, you know, this is some real shit we're singing about. And the way we're delivering it is deliberate, because we fucking, you know, were completely anti-Warped Tour culture. You know what I mean? And,
even though you were like shoulder to shoulder with those guys, like you were on the same plane as all those bands that were more or less pop rock bands who, you know, dressed like skaters and sang about love and shit.
Well, because a lot of those bands could appreciate what we were doing. Like, musicians liked us, and they fucking got it. You know what I mean? They understood, and they were like, fuck yes. You know, and we had a lot of friends in these big bands who had nothing like us, but totally understood what we were doing. And it took 20 years before the crowds fucking got it. And, you know, people come up to me all the time and go, oh, when's F- going to play now, right?
Right, of course.
Nobody was doing that fucking then.
That's,
you know,
how it goes.
You know, it just wouldn't be the same if we came out and you know, and so.
Over the course of F-'s existence, the music did kind of become more melodic. Was that intentional, or did the melody just seep through the cracks?
I think it probably seeped through the cracks. I mean, I know that Erica, who was the guitarist, could actually sing, you know, and I could not. Jen, the bass player, could sorta, you know, but I don't think it was a conscious shift to anything more melodic, other than, you know, we didn't want to do the same record, you know, over and over. Do you know what I mean? So regardless of, you know, if we had stayed together, it probably would have, you know, who knows what it would have wound up as. You know, I like the idea of trying to not repeat what you did, you know.
Definitely, even though the fans probably would disagree, you know.
Right. You know, I mean, there's like, you know, there's a couple of types of bands. There's the bands that do the same record every time and people fucking love it and that's what they want. And you know, and the band is happy to give it to them like that. But then there's those bands that, you know, every record sounds different, you know, and to me, you know, and that's like riskier, because you know, you could end up fucking alienating people that like you, because, you know, you're no longer playing what they want to hear. But I think as a fucking band person, it's the only way to go, man, unless you want to be in like 25 different fucking bands, all doing different things. And that gets like, you know, really complicated. You know, I'm in 3 bands right now, and a solo thing that I want to do, but I haven't had time to, you know, so.
Oh, really?
And it's all and it's all I can do to fucking find the time to like devote to each one of these, to like, you know, write and whatever, you know what I mean? And, so why not just do it in one, why not just try and fucking experiment in one band? You know, that's another thing I see a lot of, Chris, which breaks my heart is, you know, a lot of bands will be around for a fucking year and then they'll just disappear, you know, or they'll start to get some like notoriety and then just disappear. Maybe that's like by design. Maybe that's, they don't give a fuck, you know, about like taking it any further than that. But I think it's fucked, man. It's like, you know, like if, you know, keep like, you know, when you look at like all those bands from the 70s and shit, like the fucking Who and the Stones and like all those classic rock bands, Beatles, to me, they put out like 5 fucking shitty albums before they started to get good, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, you gotta Sometimes it does work that way, where like the band needs to mature and like find itself, but then other times it could be where like the initial burst of energy is something like bigger than everybody individually, that like exists in a moment of time and then is like gone in an explosion.
You're right about, that could be true too. And, it's my own, like, I'm not saying there's a right or wrong. That's my own, like, personal preference. It's like, man, if you're, like that band Gloss, who was, they're from Seattle, man. And they were like, a hardcore band with a trans singer and they were fucking, they weren't like radically fucking different, but they were really good, and really good at doing the fucking HC, man, really powerful. And right as they were starting to gain a following, they kind of fucking split up, and that made me sad. It's like, shit, at least you could have waited a couple records down the road to do that, because who knows what it could have turned into,
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, man.
It's tough to be in a band. Like, I mean,
it's tough to be in a band. You're right.
You've got a good situation,
part of it too.
And like I try to keep bands together, and it's like when I look at it, I'm like, man, just having a band that exists, you're like 99% more successful than every other band that's ever been attempted.
You're absolutely right.
Just getting the guys in practice is a miracle.
Yes. you're fucking absolutely right. Finding 4 of the people that have nothing better to do is a fucking miracle, man. And you're right. And I don't take that for granted. It's like, I'm lucky that with Rats, everybody's like, we all are just, nobody has anything better to do,
One thing I see with the bands that are like more successful in the scene, like they just never stop. The momentum, like for example, Vic from the Slackers, it'll be like the Slackers tour Europe and then come back and do a West Coast run. And now they're off tour, but Vic is going to go do a solo show in the afternoon in Baltimore and then a night show in DC. And I'm like, dude, this guy is just like nonstop. Like, now is it, I wonder, is it, and you're kind of the same way. Is it a product of like, can't stop, won't stop? Like, this is what I love to do. Or is it like out of necessity? Like, gotta keep going.
As long as I've known Vic, that's been his, like, he's just a fucking guy who loves playing music, And I learned from guys like that. It's like, oh, I get it. You just don't fucking stop. The more you keep doing it, the better your shit gets, whether anybody likes it or not, is beside the point. And the better your stuff gets. And so I try and like maintain that too. Like, and there's a couple other guys in some bands around who do that stuff too, and are unofficial like mentors of mine. Like I'm influenced by that. They just fucking keep going, and they don't even take time to bask in fucking shit. It's like, okay, this is done, cool, on to this. This is done, cool, on to this. And it doesn't matter if there's any money coming in from it or not, I got to work. Everybody in the band's got to work, and fuck it, man. And if one band, like, the cool thing about having maybe a couple of projects going is if one band, is kind of not as active, then you just put your energy into the other band. And if that band is kind of not active for a bit, then you go to the other one, and just, you can bounce around. So you, being the crazy person, can stay active all the time between all your projects. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I that's the way I would put it to these people that I would play. It's like, hey, just, you want to humor me and do this stuff with me, and I think it'd be really fun. And I'm a fan of the way you play, and just humor me. And And they're not always active, you know, at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like, so I put more into the band that, you know, everybody's showing up to practice, let's say,
Right.
just because, you know, because I'll get the immediate results, you know,
Yeah.
which is the execution of the fucking music, you know, the delivering of the fucking jams.
Yeah, and it kind of allows it to be more natural too. Like I presented a song to my drummer and he's like, I don't like it. And I was like, what? I fucking love this shit, man. And then I'm like thinking about it like, well, if he doesn't want to play it, maybe I'll just introduce it to, and I don't really have other serious projects, but like I do some studio stuff with guys on the side. So I'm like, maybe I'll just work it there and bring something else to the table.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do that, or you could go, cool, let's just sit on it for a while and come back to it in a few months. Maybe you'll like it then, you know, if you don't use it for something else. You know what I mean? Because that's another one that happens a lot, is it's like, you know, when I initially heard it, I thought it sucked. And then after having some time away from it, it's like, all of a sudden, this is fucking, I like this, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't have to take it as a like a fucking defeat, or, you know, just like, that's cool. All right, I'll just move it on down here, or we'll just put it on ice for a while, you know? And it's kind of frustrating if you're the guy that's coming up with the majority of the ideas, which I think that you are in your situations, but that's the price that you got to pay for being the guy who comes up with the majority of the ideas. And if you're a control freak like me, you like being the person that comes up with the majority of the ideas, but not everybody's going to like them all the time, right? And that's normal, you know?
Yeah, I guess just keep the ideas coming. It forces you to keep the mind sharp and keep sharpening your own sword.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like Wu-Tang Clan, you know, 9 guys clamoring to get on the track. It's like, you better bring the A game, you know?
Yeah, totally. And all those guys had their own things going in multiple projects, right?
Oh yeah.
And if you've ever seen them live, they were just a fucking mess live, you know, just too many dudes on stage.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they kind of like advertise the brotherhood and all that, but anybody that knows anything about like Wu-Tang, they're constantly warring within.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm like all families, you fight and then you make up and make some awesome shit happen. One thing I noticed about like your music, like looking at you and all your catalog, it's pretty devoid of ska influence, other than of course like playing with Leftover Crack. Do you get enough ska playing with them, or were you never like a big ska guy?
No, I was never a ska guy. I mean, I never played it in my life until I was playing with Leftover Crack. And in fact, you know, the first, you know, maybe 10 years of the band, I would just not play those ska parts.
Oh, really?
And then, and then I was like, man, I just, you know, might as well try and learn how the shit goes. And so Ezra and Sturgeon, you know, gave me their tips on it. But I mean, it's not that I didn't like ska, because I loved like you know, Op Ivy and the Specials, and then all that old like '60s Trojan, and you know, I was really into that shit, you know, as a punk, and but I just never played it, right? And just fucking hardcore guy, and on my own, I'm not going to write stuff like that. No.
Do you write in Leftover Crack?
That is pretty much Sturgeon's fucking baby. You know, he would go, hey, you got any songs, man? You want to fucking just send me some, you know, send me some parts, or send me what you got, you know, and I would, and you know, occasionally he would make stuff out of it. You know, there was on the last record, Constructs of the State. One of those songs was one of mine, Slave to the Throne, and it was completely done already. And we just threw lyrics over it, and then on that split we did with Sister Citizen, you know, so, and there were parts, like there was you know, there'd been parts on all the records, and even the first record that I didn't play on, I wasn't listed as a member, you know, Party Homeopathy was mine, but you know,
really?
I was in the band, and, you know, I was in the band at the very beginning, first show, you know, Choking Victim had broken up, and Sturgeon moved to Montana, and he just started, you know, making demos on cassette, and, you know, he would send them to me from my fucking Montana. I'm like, hey, here's some shit, man, you know, some new stuff, and I'm thinking of starting this band Leftover Crack. I don't have any fucking members. Do you want to play guitar? And I was like, yeah, sure, you know. And then I moved to New York City, you know, lived there for a while, and, you know, we played shows out there. But I left to move back to California to kind of tour with F-, and because we recorded that first F- record, and then boom, I moved straight to New York. We didn't do any shows or any tours or anything, and it's like, oh, fuck, man, you know, everybody lived in California but me. We didn't have any money, so I had to, you know, if I wanted to do shit with them, I had to move back to California. And yeah, and so I did. So I was out of Leftover Crack for probably a year, you know, and in the meantime, they got Ezra, who was great, you know, and I saw them come through California, and they played, and I'm like, yeah, you know, if you ever need another guitar player, if you ever want to have two guitar players and you just sing, Sturgeon, let me know. You know, a couple months later, they called me and said, hey, you know, you want to play fucking second guitar? I'm just going to sing. And then that was that, right?
Yeah.
And then I did both for a while, F- and Leftover Crack.
And it's kind of funny that y'all are kind of like brother bands because you're right next to each other on that first Give 'Em the Boot comp. Like it goes Choking Victim, F- is so famous. Like the song ends, and then the big Hawk the Loogie. You know, I think I saw y'all play that back to back one time. Like Leftover Crack did that F- song with you.
Oh my God.
No
That's
Time.
so funny.
It's a great song.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that comp in so long. That first Give 'Em the Boot was great. I loved it.
That's legendary, man. I don't, like now it might be a little bit different, but anybody who says that they knew like the crack rock steady music from another way, like is full of shit. Like Tim Armstrong brought that music to the people. You know what I mean? Like Choking Victim,
100%.
they broke up after they recorded. Nobody would have ever known. And then he gave them another chance with the Leftover Crack album on Hellcat. So, I mean, I always thought how that turned out was kind of weird, and you're kind of caught in the middle.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I didn't like the way that played out at all. I feel the same way you do about it. So that Tim didn't have to do any of that shit for any of us, you know. And at the time, that guy was like, you know, you know, they're one of the biggest bands around, and it was definitely in the middle. I mean, you know, they were both friends of mine. Tim more so, you know, you know, him and Sturgeon, you know, fucking had some band drama between them. You know, I got caught up in it as the guy who knew both parties. You know, so, yeah, fucking, I'm not stoked on the way it played out, honestly.
How do you handle it? Like, how do you reconcile it as such a close friend of both guys?
Well, it's really their business, you know, is the way that I looked at it then. It's like, you know, you guys got to work this shit out, you know. It's like, I'm not a part of this. I don't, you know, there was some stuff that went on that I don't even, you know about. I think just some, you know, fucking arguing, band drama, label guy stuff. nothing like dramatic, you know.
Yeah.
And they just never got past it. You know, it just ended with some fuck yous on both sides, and they never, like, you know, made up, and you know, they didn't get past it, you know. So it's just this, like, fucking open wound, you know.
You think there's ever any, like, can that beef be squashed, or is it just neither party cares at this point?
I don't even know, you know. I haven't seen Tim in a real long time.
No, really?
Yeah, and well, actually, you know, until over the holiday I bumped into him, and it was really great to see him, you know, and you know, we were really close, him and I, and I lived in his house a couple of years, and so we were like, oh, you know, we got to get, you know, we didn't talk about anything heavy, you know. It's like, fuck, we got to get together and catch up. I was like, yeah, we got to get together and catch up. So maybe that'll happen, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, any resolution, as far as any resolution on either side, you know, who knows if that'll ever happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of none of my business. Still.
I heard a lot of different rumors about how they got hooked up with Hellcat in the first place. Like, but then most recently I read that it was you who initially presented the stuff to Hellcat.
Well, what happened was I worked at Hellcat, you know, I was roadie for Rancid for a number of years, and when Tim started Hellcat, he was like, you know, hey, I'm going to put out your band, and, you know, he already had a few bands that he wanted to put records out on, and you know, I kind of worked there just, you know, opening fucking mail, or, you know, just doing, like, clerical shit and you know, production work on 7 inches and whatnot, and something that would send a tape in, the cassette of 500 channels, and maybe there might have been a couple other songs on it. But Tim goes to me, hey, you know, I want to do a record with these guys. I don't know where to get a hold of any of them. I mean, I met this Sturgeon kid years ago in New York. I'm going to fly your ass out to New York, and, you know, do me a favor, just fucking find these guys.
Whoa.
And, and I was like, yeah, you know, cool. I'll do that. And I mean, I was out in New York a lot anyways. And so that's what I did. I don't even remember how I got Sturgeon's, you know, I don't know if he had a phone. I think I might have had to call his mom and leave a message at his mom's or something. And I ended up meeting on St. Mark's, and you know, I explained, you know, what, you know, Tim wanted to put out a record of theirs, and, you know, I guess I was a fucking A&R guy, but not really with any understanding what an A&R guy was, right? So
you're also like a detective doing like private eye work.
Yeah. So I guess I facilitated the you know, the whole hookup and the idea of it, you know, being recorded at Squirt's house, you know, in his room at Serenity, and you know, I was just kind of production manager / producer of the whole thing.
Wow.
You know, and as far as making sure all that the parties that needed to meet met, you know, and everything got going, and I even, you know, did some backup vocals on it, but they broke up the fucking day of recording it, you know. So in that sense, yeah, I mean, you know.
Why did that happen though? Why did they record and then break up? I never quite understood that.
Yeah, we got a big fight. We got a big altercation. I wasn't there when it happened. I remember I was staying at somebody's house, and you know, recording was to start the next day at noon or whatever, and I went over to Squirt's, and, you know, Ezra and Shane and Squirt were standing up front. It's like, oh yeah, you know, we got in this big fight. Sturgeon doesn't want to do the record, and it was. I'm working on a book. It'll be in the book. Cool. I'll talk about it more in depth in the book. But suffice to say, they recorded their parts separately. The band recorded their stuff, and then Sturgeon recorded his stuff at a different studio out in California, and that became No Gods, No Managers, and which came out pretty fucking good, I think, under the circumstances. That's a great, fucking excellent, just very aggressive, fucking, great record.
Way ahead of its time.
But you're right, they fucking broke up. They didn't tour on it, and you're right, man. Tim, fucking kicked down all this, time and money, and was just like, that's cool,
Huh. What did he think about it when they're like, we're breaking up? Was he just like, what? No. You just got to deal with Hellcat Records. What do you mean you're breaking up? How did he compute that?
I mean, he was bummed, but he was like, you know what? I mean, we broke up when.
True.
Right after their record came out. So that's cool. We're going to put it out anyways, which was unprecedented. I think, I feel, and, putting out a record and he wasn't pressuring him to tour or do, any of that shit.
He just believed in the music.
Totally.
So the guys weren't so like, when you found him finally on St. Mark's and you told them, were they not like that excited about that, or like did they not take it that seriously? I don't understand how, like, it's just so confusing to me, the whole story. They were. I mean, it was a weird period, it was the initial fucking punk explosion of going from being underground to MTV million seller type bands, right? And in that climate, in the early and mid 90s, there wasn't any fucking, it was all new. So nobody there's a lot of conflict in as far as the feelings that people had about all of it. Like, is this right? Should it be happening? Do we fucking, there were a lot of trust issues and stuff, but again, these were bands, Rancid and Green Day and I mean, these were bands that they weren't guys that were put together by fucking record labels, to go out, and it was a fucking accident. They were real bands of real guys playing fucking Gilman one day, and playing shitholes one day and then playing fucking arenas, a few years later. There was a lot of, I think, from Choking Victim, they were like, fuck, should we be doing this? Well, yeah, why not? Fuck it, type thing. You know what I mean? Because nobody, there was fucking 20 people going to Choking Victim shows then, they weren't fucking like blowing up. The fucking music was great. The shit was great, but it's not like they were fucking sweeping the nation by storm, and so they were like, yeah, fuck it, why not, man, but there was a lot of suspicions that they were going to be taken advantage of or exploited in ways that they didn't want to be exploited, and I think that's where a lot of the beef came in, is there were some misunderstandings about some things that were happening, business-wise. Again, things that I wasn't privy to because it wasn't my business, I didn't really discuss it with Tim. I didn't really discuss it with Sturgeon. From my opinion, it's best to stay out of those types of things unless they directly concern you, Absolutely. Yeah. Why get your own heart rate up over it?
Yeah, I don't want to be caught up in anybody's drama, man. And And unfortunately, sometimes, you know, there's no way to stay out of getting caught up in drama, and it breaks my heart because, you know, as far as I was concerned, we were all fucking buddies. We were all on the same team. You know, why is this like a fucking thing now? You know?
Yeah.
Why is this getting weird? Why can't this not just be worked out?
Yeah.
You know?
I wonder if like we're in the bizarro world where like Trump is president and Choking Victim didn't stay together. Is there like another world where like Choking Victim stayed together and toured with Rancid and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right. I know, man. And you know, I mean, it's caused me a lot of fucking personal turmoil over the years, you know. You know, it's very distressing to me the way that whole thing panned out. I haven't talked about it, you know. I don't talk. You're probably the first person I've publicly, you know, discussed any of this stuff with, you know. But yeah, man. I mean, it's like,
yeah. I mean, I guess like with the whole Choking Victim leftover crack story, it is like such a nuclear bomb in the punk world. Like it really like changed how people played punk music. It's like now people just, and I kind of feel like I kind of started that, like making it cool to just blatantly rip off leftover crack. Like this is what our band sounds like too. And then other people, like I kind of feel like I created a monster because of it. But like, I wonder if all the turmoil goes along, like we were talking about before, there's just some like unseen energy. It's like, you don't get anything for free. It's like, yeah, you'll have this like unique group of guys get together and make this like extremely innovative music, but there's going to be like side energies that are going to cause things like these turmoils and these beefs.
Yeah. And in my experience, you know, one has to work really hard on yourself personally to be able to resolve these kinds of situations in a fucking constructive manner. You know, because they come up, man. They come up, and personally, I like to get along with people, man. I like shit to be fucking cool. Life's fucking hard enough, man, on a day-to-day fucking basis. Going to your fucking job, doing your fucking bullshit that you have to do to fucking live in this fucking society, man. Just every fucking tiny little thing that just takes a fucking piece of you every fucking day. I would rather get along with people. And I love hanging out with musicians, man, because we speak the same fucking language that other people don't, man, you know? And so, but at the same time, we're all fucked up, you know? And it's like, the only way you learn things is by making fucking mistakes, man. And then you try not to repeat them again, you know, and hopefully, right, try not to repeat the same shit fucking over and over. And so sometimes shit's got to blow up for you to fucking learn something.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, I don't learn, if somebody just tells me something, it's like, oh, that's cool. But the way I really learn something is by falling on my face, man, you know? So, I mean, that's one thing I know about musicians. They are my favorite people, but we are not the fucking hotbeds of mental health or conflict resolution or communication, right? Which is why a lot of people, the only way they can say things is by writing a fucking song, you know? You can put things in songs that they could never fucking say in real life or do in real life, you know? And so, like, I get all that. It's frustrating at times. You just want to fucking kill people, you know? But what are you gonna fucking do, man? It's like, I've tried to quit music. I could not live with myself, you know? I mean, it's like, oh, I'm gonna go just work fucking at a store, you know?
Yeah.
I wanted to fucking blow my brains out, you know what I mean? So I guess I just work on how to communicate better. If that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense, man. You're also quoted as saying, if you ever see me with an acoustic guitar, fucking shoot me.
I'll tell you, my solo thing is me and an electric guitar.
Billy Bragg style.
Billy Bragg style. whom I just saw a couple months ago and was fucking amazing. But yeah, me and electric guitar.
That's
None
awesome.
of this Bruce Springsteen fucking bullshit. Fucking now I'm gonna tell all you folks about fucking my feelings. You know?
Yeah. Dude, I fucking
No,
hate
we're not
acoustic
going-
guitars, man.
We're not going down that road. And granted, there are fucking plenty of people that are great at it, I'm sure, you know, and that's awesome. I'm not one of those people. And, you know, like, I don't know, man, I don't listen to much of that kind of music. You know, it's cool. I like weird shit. I like shit between the cracks. I like the shit that's not fucking happening. I like the shit that's not cool. I like the shit that not everybody's doing. I like some of the stuff that everybody's doing, and that's cool too. But the shit that really hits home with me is like, what's missing, man? You know? The fuck is missing? I've always been like that, much to probably my fucking financial fucking demise. You know, but, you know, what's been more interesting to me is what's not there. You know, if that makes any sense. But I'll tell you, man, No Cash was a fucking good band. And you guys,
thank
like,
you, man.
you know, you guys kind of hit the nail on the head of that kind of stuff. So much so that Sturgeon really liked you. And a lot of people thought that it was fucking, you know this, that it was like Choking Victim under a different name or something, you know?
Right. Yeah, it's confusing
to me,
to people.
To me, it didn't sound, you know, there were some similarities, but like, to me, it didn't sound like that much like them. I mean, fuck. I knew what those guys really sounded like, you know?
Right. Yeah, more trained ear.
Yeah, I mean, you guys put it in a different sort of fucking packaging, man, and you know, cut a lot of the fucking fat off, you know, which was cool.
And we were just kids, but I mean, I used it as like a template. So like, I would literally like write down his arrangement. Like, okay, it went verse, chorus, bridge, and then like structure and like, okay, this is kind of the melody. Let me change one chord. But it's how I learned how to write music. And then, you know, I grew out of it very quickly as I was evolving, and then Mad Conductor happened very organically. So that story, you know, that's the only way it could have played out. But one thing, I'm like in touch with those guys again after many, many years, the No Cash dudes, and we're like working on music together for fun. And one thing, I was hanging out with my bass player. He reminded me of something I forgot about. At one point, right before we broke up, it had been proposed to us by you to record an album with us playing and Sturgeon singing, but obviously we broke up and it never came to fruition. Do you remember having that idea though?
I don't. That'd be a great idea though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we felt like slighted by it. Well, like, why wouldn't we? And then I think at the same time, like we were maybe trying to grow into our own band and distance ourselves from people asking us. Because when I was in No Cash, people asked us to play Leftover Crack songs. And when I'm in Mad Conductor, not so much anymore, but right away, everybody asks to play No Cash songs. And I still get it every once in a while, but.
Oh, I didn't mean it as a slag. You know, I didn't mean that as an insult at all.
Oh,
you know, if it came off like that, I apologize.
Dude, water under the bridge. I mean, I wish that it would have happened. I could use